set it up before the service, before many of you got here, because I move around.
All right. We're going to get us some mail, a shot. Set it up before the service, before many of you got here, because I move around. I can't stand still, and so I hate you to miss anything
grew up
tonight. There's always a privilege and an opportunity to preach at your home church, and preach where you grew up. Always heard one man's vision is a man's dream. The vision that J.D. Harris had is the dream that we're all living today. And just thank Brother David for the night and all the pastors who have carried on Walk Springs Road Baptist Church. I thank you for the church next to me. So it is a privilege and an opportunity.
John chapter number 6 this evening.
Amen.
Teacher style message.
John chapter number 6 this evening.
Pull out.
And this is more of a teacher style message than a full out preaching style.
I'm not going to read the whole chapter.
Something that God's given me.
Take a breath on
we'll read John chapter number 6. We're not going to read the whole chapter.
Just going to read half of it.
Take a breath on that. We only got 71 verses. We're just going to read half of it.
It says, after
John chapter number 6, we're reading verses 1 through 14.
These things,
this
and
it says, after these things, and I underline these things, and what are these things? After the miracles, after, it says, but I have greater witness than John, than that of John, verse number 36 in John chapter number 5. And after these things, after all the things Christ has done, it says, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. Great multitude followed him
which he did on
because they what?
They wanted something.
They saw his miracles, which he did on them that were diseased. They wanted something.
Going to give them something.
They wanted to be around someone that was going to give them something. That should be our plea. You should be at church tonight for the Lord to give you something.
Up into a mountain, and there
this says what he did on them that were diseased. Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. In the Passover, these Jews was not. It says when Jesus did lift up his eyes and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto Philip, "What shall we buy bread that these may eat?" And this he said, "Prove."
For he himself knew what he would do.
For he himself knew what he would do.
What he would do.
He himself knew what he would do. He said, Philip answered him, 200 penny worth of bread is not sufficient for them. And every one of them may take a little. One of his disciples answered, Simon Peter's brother saith unto him, there is a lad here which had five barley loaves and 2 small fishes. He said, but what are they among so many? And Jesus said unto him, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, when he had given thanks, he distributed to the disciples. The disciples to them that were set down, and likewise the fishes as much as they would. I like the buffet.
Verse number 12 says, when they were filled.
Verse number 12 says, when they were filled, he said unto his disciples, gather up the fragments that remained.
Therefore they
gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. Said then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, this is of a truth, that prophet that should come.
Let's pray. Father, come to your prayer.
Let's pray. Father, come to your prayer. Thank you today. Thank you for this evening. I pray as we jump into your word tonight and do a little study. Speak to us.
Speak through me.
I pray you speak through me.
Lord, relate
the message that you give
I pray that you
would just take it.
Lord, bring back to me.
Lord, bring back to me everything thou stated. Something thou stated that you have me not say. I pray that you would wipe it from memory.
Right now, I pray
that you would be honored, pleased, and you be glorified for everything that's said.
We love you, Jesus.
We love you, Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated.
And told from that before the service.
Again,
I said,
I want to preach a
message that you could get tonight. And just kind of looked at this little map. And numbers are not my favorite subject, but then again, it's not
my most hated or most disliked. You're not supposed to say hate. There's some things that I hate. But I want to give you something tonight. When 5 plus 2 equals 12. When 5 plus 2 equals 12. I said that one time in Texas, and one of the boys looked at me, and he's like, Brother Ty, 5 plus 2 doesn't equal 12. I said, really? I said, have you ever done geometry? Somehow in geometry, they're going to make 5 plus 2 equal 12. Because there's always the unknown somewhere, but we don't have the unknown, we have the known. And Christ has made all things known to us. There's some things that we may not understand, but God has written everything down in His Word, and He'll give us more about it when we get to heaven. But the thing is, we won't need to know then. Why? Because we're there. We'll have all we need, and that's sitting at the feet of Jesus. But it says when 5 plus 2 equals 12, and there was a need here in John chapter number 6. People were hungry. There's a big need when you're hungry. And people get hangry. Well, that's what I am. That's what my wife always tells me to go eat something when I come in from working, because she doesn't want me to be that angry. And because I'm hungry, so I'll go grab something to eat. And, you know, eating something does something to you. It fills you. It's a sense of fulfillment. It's a sense of calming yourself down at times. But, you know, there was a need here, and it's not a coincidence that verse number 4 it says, in the Passover, a feast of the Jews was nigh. It's not a coincidence that Christ put that in there, that God put that in there. Why? Because probably all the food was going to be set aside for that feast. So a lot of the people probably had been working all day to try to prepare the feast, and now they're hungry. Just because there is a need in your life doesn't mean that God will just fulfill it right then. Just because there's a need in your life does not mean that all of a sudden, hey, I've got this need, and boom, it's taken care of, and God's right there. Jesus knew exactly what He was going to do here, but He wanted His disciples to use their brain a little bit. He wanted to see how much faith His disciples had. He wanted to see exactly what their thoughts were. Why? Because He said He was going to prove Him. Was He going to prove Him right or prove Him wrong? I believe that was the question. You know, the disciples asked questions. I believe that Christ, He had already knew what He was going to do. The disciples didn't. When you have a solution, when we have a solution in one of the needs of our life, usually it's what we're able to do, or what we're able to accomplish. It's what we can do with it's the possibilities of our hands, of our works, that we try to justify the solution to the problem. And most of the time, we kind of make a bigger mess out of the problem that we had trying to do it on our own. But why don't we always question God when we don't think anything we have is good enough? Why don't we question God when things are not going exactly how we want? Do you think them being hungry and not having anything to eat there was what they wanted? No, I doubt it. But He created us, and when God created us, He gave us everything that we needed, and He gave us exactly what He wanted us to have in our life. You know, some of us may have a few more tools in our toolbox than others, but everyone has the ability to glorify God with their life. It doesn't matter if it's what you think is small, if it's something that you think is great, but if you'll just put your tools in the Master's hands, He'll use you. Well, some of you can't, don't want to go soul winning because you're not the greatest, speaker. You don't like speaking to someone face to face. I've never met anyone in this church that had a problem with talking, but But here's the thing, if you're not comfortable speaking to someone, maybe you can just stand behind them and pray.
I want to give you something tonight. With 5 plus 2
we limit God's power on our life when we limit to pray, so why not go as a silent partner and pray that God will take it?
I've never met anyone in this church that had a problem with talking, but here's the thing, if you're not comfortable speaking,
and all of our abilities should be used to glorify God.
Prayer is where you get the power of God in your life. We've got power in our life and we live to pray. So why not go as a silent partner and pray that God would take it and touch that person's heart as the door is being knocked and they are inviting to the church to share the gospel.
And it doesn't give His name.
We have abilities, and all of our abilities should be used to glorify God with our life. I want you to look at 4 things tonight in 14 or 15 verses of John chapter 6, verses 1 through 15. And I want you to see the lad. I want you to see kind of where he was coming from, and it doesn't give his name. Why does it not give his name?
Didn't give her name. Why? Because
that's not
it did not matter who it was.
It wasn't important. It wasn't about who he was.
But you see the lad, and I want you to see some things here. But he
a lot of times the woman at the well, what was her name?
He sacrificed. It said there's a lad here in verse number 9, which has 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes. But then Andrew questioned, but what are they amongst them?
But you see the lad, and I want you to see some things here, but he did not sell his lunch.
These 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes. You always think of a loaf.
There's a lad
I
here.
think of a sunbeam.
In verse number 9, which has 5 loaves and 2 fishes. But then Andrew questioned, what are they amongst so many?
But in the
Hey, we've got a little bit here, but there's a lot of
is used.
We've got, these 5 loaves, 2 fishes. You always think of loaf. I don't know, when I think of loaf, I think of a sunbeam. A loaf ain't that long. Look like that was a loaf of bread. But in the Bible, that barley loaf was used mainly by poor people for a staple of food. Wheat was expensive, barley was cheap. So take it again. That barley loaf would not be quite as big as this, but that's about what it looked like. It was flat, it was real like a peanut. So when you start thinking about it, that's not a lot of food.
I promise you,
that's not a lot of bread.
Good hot. He could probably eat 2 or 3 of them.
It may be good hot, but when you're starting out having a little piece of this and passing it around, this is not going to go far. If we start passing this around the church, I promise you,
that's really not a lot.
Well, Gil already said they're good hot. He can probably eat 2 or 3 of them.
Loaf was, like I said, a staple.
I promise you, I can eat 2 or 3 of them.
People to eat off of.
I'm not going to go that far.
And he had.
But when you start thinking about it, that's really not a lot of bread. And the barley loaf was, like I said, a staple for the poor people to eat off of because wheat was expensive. And he had 5 barley loaves too.
And but you see,
as they're small, goes to prove it doesn't matter what size talent, what size abilities you have, because it doesn't matter. What matters is if you give it to the Lord. And but you see, he didn't sell his lunch. No doubt, with all of the people there, he probably could have made some money. I mean, I like buying, selling, and trading things, and I've got a project right now that I'm working on to try to flip. But imagine this little boy, he's the only one there with food, 5,000. Imagine the bidding war that could have taken place. We're going to start out at $1, and also somebody comes in, I'm going to wrap you 10. This little boy could have racked up money, but he didn't.
With you trying to use it for your glory.
He did.
We act like we deserve to be paid or we deserve to be blessed or rewarded.
And God can do more with your life when you give it to Him to be used for His glory than He ever would with you trying to use it for your glory.
We act like we
deserve to be paid or we deserve to be blessed or rewarded for using our talents for God. Well, I'm going out sewing this Saturday, so somebody better buy me lunch.
Whose church is it?
We act like, that, well, I'm not coming up here to vacuum the church or to clean the church because someone else's job to do that. They get paid for it.
So why not? But we act like, I understand. And I had someone come up to me when I made that statement in Texas, and they said, well, you get paid to work at the church.
So,
that's what I'm calling.
Well, we act like, I understand. And I had someone come up to me when I made that statement in Texas, and they said, well, you get paid to work at the church.
We act like we deserve to be rewarded for it. God gave us the ability to honor and glory.
Whether I'm paid or not, I'm called to do it. And the Lord's going to supply everything. We act like we deserve to be rewarded for what we've done. God gave us the ability to honor and bring glory to His name. But you see the lad here, he did not sell his lunch, he sacrificed it. Number 2, I want you to see the lunch. There was a great need without a great meal. We already said it, 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes was really just a meal for one little boy.
But it never
it's all at once, nothing really to it. But the scripture never clearly defines, and I've looked at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but it never clearly defines whether the lad offered his lunch, whether Philip or Andrew went to him and asked of his lunch. And it doesn't say, maybe someone said, hey, I see you got some food, take it to Jesus.
Whether he gave because he wanted to
give, it never clearly defines, but there's one thing that matters, and that is he was obedient. Whether he was told, he was obedient. Whether he gave because he wanted to give, he was willingly obedient to what God wanted him to do.
We're going to look at when 5 plus 2 equals 12. So look at
the number 5. A few things. We're going to look into some meanings of numbers.
The number 5 is seen throughout the Bible.
We're going to look at when 5 plus 2 equals 12. So look at the number 5. Number 5, well, I look at number 5 because that's part of the number 5 is seen throughout the Bible, but almost every time it is used, it is used as part of a whole. It is also a small, it's so small of a bigger piece that it can be considered only a handful as the 5 fingers on one's hand. A handful. The first 5 books of the Bible, known as the Pentateuch, comprise only a portion of 66 books of the entire Bible. So start thinking about it, it's a part, it's a piece, it's not a whole. It says, even though 5 represents a small sum, which appears to be insignificant within the larger scheme, it does individually possess high value. When Abraham pleads to God to spread the people of Sodom, he begins by pleading for 5 fewer righteous people. As to suggest that the loss of 5 will be insignificant in its consequences, Genesis 18, verses 22 through 20. Matthew 25, 2, the Bible, the number 5 is half of the percent, half of the perfect number 10, as in the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. 5 took gold and 5 did not. But you'll see that the 10 Commandments are distinctly divided into 2 pairs of 5. If you ever really looked at it, the first 5 of the 10 Commandments deal with our relationship with God. The next 5, the second 5 commandments deal with our relationship with others, to the ones around us. But only the commandment number 5 is different, and that is the only one promise. Is the only one that has a promise associated.
Thieves must repay 5 times the value of oxen.
Numbers mean a lot.
That was in Exodus 22:1.
At times, 5 indicates just recompense or bounteous reward. Thieves must repay 5 times the value of oxen that they steal. That was in Exodus 22:1. Benjamin was honored by Joseph with 5 times more food than his brothers in Genesis 43, verse number 34. And 5 sets of clothes, verse number 22, chapter 45 Genesis. And we can't forget that Jesus took 5 loaves to feed the 5,000. It was abundance for the multitude. The number 5 represents God's grace, seen throughout the structure of the tabernacle in the wilderness. The pillars were 5 cubits apart. The pillars were 5 cubits apart, 5 cubits high. The brass in all 5 cubits by 5 cubits. There were 5 pillars at the end of the holy place. The sides of the tabernacle were reinforced by 5 bars on each side. You'll see that in Exodus chapter 26, verses 26 through 27. The inner covering of the tabernacle was composed of 5 curtains, which were attached to 5 other curtains, for a total of 10 curtains. Exodus 26:3. Notice the double 5 pattern in all of those things. There were 5 original priests. Aaron and Moses, in Exodus chapter number 28, verse number 1. So the number 5 means a lot. 5 is a number of preparation, as the first 5 books of the Bible prepare you for Israel's story throughout the rest of the Bible. The 5 wise virgins were prepared. They were old. David, in preparing for Goliath, took up how many smooth stones? Good guess. 5 smooth stones. To prepare and perfect the saints for the ministry, some are called to be apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, or teachers. Ephesians chapter number 4, verses 11 through 12. Through these 5 outlets goes forth the gospel of Jesus Christ, and surely you are prepared to fit into at least one of these by God's grace. So the number 5, when you start looking throughout Scripture, God uses numbers to relay a message within inside another message. And he said he had 5 barley loaves. And I know this is a lot, and that's why I said it was more of a teach-your-style message than preaching. But the number 5 is associated with God's grace. All throughout Scripture, the number 5 is associated with God's grace. Let's look at the number 2. The number 2 for the 2 fishes. Genesis chapter 1, it says, Genesis 1, 6 through 8, it says, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let them divide the waters from the waters. Then God made the firmament and divided the waters which run in the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, so the evening and the morning was the second day. Genesis chapter 4, verse 6 through 8. So you see the number 2. The number 2 in the Bible has several meanings.
The number 2 denotes division or separation within Scripture.
There's a difference. There's a difference between the waters. He divided the waters of separation. The number 2 proves that there is a division or separation within Scripture. From the beginning of creation, we see the number 2 in the Scriptures. On the second day of creation, God divided the waters. earthly waters and the heavenly waters. Throughout the Bible, we see the duality of two things being opposite, and at no time can these two things be both at the same time, such as light and darkness, good and evil, heaven and hell, the saved, the unsaved. They can never be the same. It is always a type of division or separation of two different things. Two is also the number. The number two suggesting division and separation is seen in the following examples. There's two birds. One was slain and one was set free to the goats. One slain, the other set free to the masters, to the covenants. There's the Old and the New Testament, divides the two. And the law and grace. You have Christ, the Antichrist. You have the natural, the spiritual, the male, the female. You have the righteous and the wicked. As in Psalm chapter number 1, where it takes and divides two things. The number 2 is very important, would you say? 2 is the minimum number of people to be sent out on an important assignment. 2 angels were sent to Sodom, Genesis 19:1. 2 spies were sent to Jericho in Joshua 2:1. Jesus sent his disciples out 2 by 2 in Mark chapter 6, verse number 7. Also, 2 is the minimum number of witnesses. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the matter shall be established. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse number 15. The number 2 is symbolic of number 1, a difference or division. Number 2 is the minimum number for an important assignment. And number 3, the minimum number of witnesses for a matter to be established. Let me ask you 2 questions. Number 1, Jesus separated how many thieves on the cross?
How many disciples did Jesus walk with
2, how many disciples ran to the tomb?
2, how many
2, how many angels were at Christ's resurrection?
Of Christ's ascension.
How many disciples did Jesus walk with on the road to Emmaus after his resurrection?
The answer
how many men wear white apparel and testify of Christ's ascension?
Is very important.
2. For all those questions,
so what does God's grace and separation
2 is very important
with this story
in the Scripture.
Number 5.
So what does God's grace and separation
grace for having the
have to do?
He gave him grace to start off
Number 5
with
God's grace. God gave the Lord grace for having the food to begin with.
He had food.
He gave him grace to start off the day
division between him and others. He had food.
And number 2, the Lord was separated.
A division there.
He had food. There was a complete division between him and the others. He had food, and they did not. There was a division there. And 5 plus 2 equals what? Doesn't equal 12. They don't do it. It equals 7. 5 plus 2 does not equal 12. 5 plus 2 equals 7. I'm not going to ask where you went to school.
7 priests shall bear trumpets of the ram's horns
5 plus 2 equals 7.
For the 7th day you shall march around the city.
What does the number 7 represent? Glad you asked. 7 priests shall bear trumpets of the ram's horns before the ark. For the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times. The priests shall trumpet, Joshua 6, chapter number 4. In the Bible, numbers have spiritual significance, and we've looked at it. But the most familiar, or the most used number in the book, in the Bible, is the number 7. It appears over 600 times throughout Scripture. It comes from a Hebrew word to mean to be full, to be satisfied, or to have enough.
It was enough to feed the 5.
They had enough.
But 5 plus 2 did not just equal 7.
And 5 loaves of bread.
It equaled 12.
It was enough to feed.
Many times 7 is important.
But 5
as a
plus
symbol
2
rather
did
than
not
an
just
actual
equal
number.
7.
Whenever you read 7, it does not always really mean 7 things or 7 occurrences.
Many times 7 is important as a symbol rather than an actual number. Whenever you read 7, it does not always literally mean 7 things or 7 occurrences. It is symbolic of the whole or the completion or the ideal situation of
one of the most profound examples of the use of the symbolic number 7 related to the fall of Jericho in Joshua chapter number 6, 1 through 20.
One of the most profound examples of the use of the symbolic number 7 is related to the fall of Jericho in Joshua chapter number 6, 1 through 20. Notice how many 7s appeared in Scripture in Joshua chapter number 6, 1 through 20. The use of the number 7 simply means fulfillment or enough. Enough priests with a trumpet, enough people marched around the walls, enough times for the walls to come tumbling down.
There are 7 churches.
Revelation is the last book of the Bible that completes the Word of God and contains more number 7 than any of the other books. There are 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 personages, 7 vials, 7 globes, and 7 new things. Additionally, there are 7 glories of the Son of Man and 7 blessings. The word Jesus is found 7 times. And
In just one verse in
Jesus
Isaiah
Christ is found
chapter
7
11, verse 12, the Holy Spirit
and the
rests
wrath
on
of God is
Jesus
found 7
in
times
7
in the
different
book
ways.
of Revelation.
Number one, the
In
Spirit
just
of God.
one verse in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12, the Holy Spirit resting on Jesus in 7 different ways. Number 1, the Spirit of God. Number 2, wisdom. Number 3, understanding. Number 4, counsel. Number 5, power. Number 6, knowledge. And number 7, the fear of God. Our desire should be that the Holy Spirit would rest within us in the same exact 7 ways as it did with Jesus Christ.
God. So we looked at
We mean the Spirit of God, God's Spirit, wisdom, understanding, counsel, power, knowledge, and the fear of God. So we looked at the lamb, we looked at the lunch, we looked at some numbers. I want you to look at the Lord thirdly tonight.
He wanted to prove that he was the man.
Why did Christ take the 5 barley loaves and the 2 fish and feed the 5,000? He wanted to prove that he was the man.
With all the miracles that he'd done, he'd already proved
Christ
himself
have to
when he
prove
spoke
himself?
the words that God had given him. And
He'd already proven himself with all the miracles that he'd done. He'd already proven himself when he spoke the words that God had given him. And he'd already proven himself to many other people. So why did Christ do the miracle of
helping the
feeding
hurt,
5,000?
helping the ones that could not help
Because
themselves?
he loved people.
Why he wanted to prove
That
he
was
the man.
Christ's ministry, was
He
people.
wanted to prove that
Helping the
whatever
hurt,
problem
helping the
was,
ones that
whatever
could
the
not help
situation he was
themselves.
in, he was the master.
Why he wanted to prove that
He
he was
wanted
the
to prove
master.
that he was mighty.
He wanted to
That
prove
he could do
that
the things that
whatever
were
the problem
unthinkable.
was, whatever the situation you were in,
What are they
he
among
was
so
the
many?
master.
Is that what Andrew said?
He wanted to prove that he was mighty,
Hey,
that he could do the things that were unthinkable.
5,000 men.
What are they among so many? Ain't that what Andrew said?
It says 5,000.
Hey, it's the unthinkable to
Some
feed
people estimate around
5,000
15,000
men.
people.
It doesn't say how many women or children were there, but it says 5,000 men. It could be more. Some people estimate around 10 to 15,000 people were fed. But I'm going to stick with 5,000. Why? Because 5,000 is enough for me. To be fed with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish.
God adds.
And he proved that day that he
added
was
to the
a
church
God
daily, such
of
as
man.
should be saved. God multiplies. He said,
God
"I
adds.
will open up the windows of heaven."
He added to the
pour out
church
blessings
daily,
that,
such as should be
you
saved.
wouldn't have room
God
to
multiplies. He
contain
said,
the blessings.
Behold, I will open up the windows of
God,
heaven.
He's a God of
To pour out
multiplication.
blessings
He's a God of man.
that there you wouldn't have room to contain the blessings.
So how does
So he's a God of multiplication. He's a God of man.
12?
And I want you to look at the
John
leftovers. There
chapter
were
1,
12
verses
baskets
14 through
full.
16 says,
So
"And
how
the Word
does
was
5
made flesh and
plus
dwelt
2
among us, and we beheld his
equal
glory.
12?
The glory as of the only begotten of the
John
Father,
chapter
full
1, verses
of
14
grace
through
and
16,
truth."
it says, And the
John
Word
bare
was made
witness
flesh
to
and
him,
dwelt
and
among
cried,
us, and we
saying, "This
beheld
was
his
he,
glory.
of
The
whom
glory as
I
of the only
speak.
begotten of the
He
Father,
that cometh
full
after me is
of
before
grace
me,
and
before me,
truth.
for he was before
John
me.
bare
Verse
witness of
16.
him and cried,
And
saying,
of
This
his
was he
fullness
of whom
have
I
all
speak.
we
He that
received
cometh after me is
grace
preferred before me, for he was before me. In verse number 16,
Grace.
and of his
God give you
fullness
grace to start
have
with.
all we
God is very
received, and
graceful to us, very
grace
merciful to us.
for
And God's loved us enough to put us where we are
God
here,
give you grace to
today,
start
and to give
this
us the
life.
abilities
God's
that
been
we
very
have
graceful
today.
to us, very merciful to us.
And so many
And God's
times
loved
we
us enough
familiar
to
with
put
it.
us where we are here today and to give us the abilities that we have today.
How do we abuse it?
And
What
so
shall
many
say,
times
and
we
shall
get too
continue
familiar
sin
with
that-
God's grace.
that grace may abound? What does it say?
A lot of
God
times we
forbid.
abuse it.
How shall we
How
then
do we
be able to
abuse
sin
it?
will?
What shall we
any
say then? Shall
longer
we continue
therein?
to sin
So
that-
we
that
get to
grace
thinking
may
that,
abound?
God's
What does it
just
say?
going
God
to forgive me.
forbid.
God's going to be okay
How
with
shall
what
we
I
that are
do.
dead to sin
We'll
live
go out and we'll
any
do
longer
something
therein?
that's wrong
So
with
we
us,
get
and
to
we'll
thinking
ask
that,
for
oh,
forgiveness.
God's just going to forgive me. God's going to be okay with what I do. We'll go out, we'll do something, knowing it's wrong, and turn around and say, Lord, I ask you for
They
forgiveness.
say
That's
it's
not
easier
what
to
it
ask
is.
for forgiveness than permission.
Not at all. And I heard a statement, and I really don't care for the statement, but they say it's easier to ask for
Andrew did not
forgiveness
see the
than
grace
permission.
of God in the middle of this whole meeting.
That doesn't
So
work.
5 plus 2 equals 7.
But
And God
Andrew
says
did
He
not
will
see
do
the grace of
abundantly
God in the middle of
above
this whole
all
meeting.
that we ask or
So
think.
5 plus 2 equals 7.
When 5
God
plus
says He
2
will do
equals 12.
abundantly
Number
above
12. There's
all
12 tribes
that
of
we
Israel.
ask or think.
Genesis 49:28.
When
The
5
number 12
plus
speaks
2
of governmental
equals 12.
perfection.
The number 12,
Or
there's 12 tribes of Israel.
so he was not only proving that
Genesis
he was enough,
49:28. The number
he
12
was
speaks
proving
of
that he was the
governmental
ruler, he
perfection
was the master
or
above
rule.
all when he took up the 12.
So he was not only
baskets,
proving that he was
the 12
enough,
fragments.
he was
The 12
proving that he was the ruler, he
The
was the
sun which
master.
rules the day,
Above
and the
all,
moon and
he took
stars
up
which
12.
govern the night. Do so by their passage through the 12 signs of the zodiac,
the sun which rules the day, and the moon and stars which govern the night. Do so by their passage through the 12 signs of the zodiac, which completes the circle of the heavens of 360
the 12 tribes of Israel.
12 times 30.
Saying the 12 tribes of
As a simple 12 is one of the perfect numbers in the Bible, mainly because of the 12 tribes of Israel. But saying the 12 tribes of Israel has a double meaning. The tribes are the sons of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel when he wrestled with God. Also, the tribes are of Israel, the nation. Many things in the Bible acknowledge and are patterned after the 12 tribes of Israel. Following the Exodus, Moses built 12 pillars on Mount Sinai in Exodus chapter 24, verse number 4. How many spies were sent to the land to spy out in Deuteronomy 1:23? 12 spies. 12 were strong, came, 10 were bad, 2 were good.
Then it was
2 were what? They were separated. There was a division, there was a separation from those 2 than it was the other 10. They saw God in everything that was said and done over there.
The Jordan River in Joshua 4:3, 12 stones were attached to the breastplate.
12 stones were set at the memorial after crossing the Jordan River in Joshua 4:3. 12 stones were attached to the breastplate of the priestly garments bearing the names of the 12 tribes. In Exodus chapter 34, 39, 8 through 14, the temple is on.
Jesus speaks his first words as preaching at the age of what? 12. Luke chapter number 2, verse number 42. Later he chooses how many disciples? 12 disciples. 12 baskets of fragments were collected here in John chapter number 6. The book of Revelation says there are 12 gates to the city. 12 angels as great gatekeepers, and the names of the 12 tribes written on the gates. The gates are 12 pearls, and have 12 pearls, and the wall will be on 12 foundations which bear the names of the 12 apostles. The measurements of the New Jerusalem also involve the number 12 in all its measurements. The number 12 as a perfect governmental number rule within our own society. That's why there are 12 people on a jury. There's 12 eggs in a carton. Not that that matters to anything. There's 12 eggs in there. There is no kidding about the tree of life which once stood in the Garden of Eden and was forbidden to Adam. But guess what? It will stand in the city and be accessible to all of us, and it will bear 12 kinds of fruits for the months of the healing of the nations in Revelation chapter number 22, verse number 2. See, God was proving in everything here when he took up the 12 fragments that he still reigns. He is still the ruler of the heaven and the earth. He is still the ruler of all the problems and all the things that arise in life. If you'll just take and give what you have to the Lord, you'll see his grace to see it finished. God is the author and finisher of our faith. If God began a good work in you, it said he will what? He'll complete it. He'll finish it. An author begins the book and ends the book. We already know that the battle is ours. We may lose a few battles, but the war is ours. We've already won the war. But God gives you grace to begin his work. But Christians, don't forget that he gives you grace to complete his work through you. 5 is the number of grace, 2 is the number of division. 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish. 5 plus 2 equals 7. And when you add 5 for God to finish it, equals what? 12. 12 loaves of bread. When 5 plus 2 equal 12. Heads bowed and eyes are closed. I'm finished. Philippians chapter number 1 and verse number 6 says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. So many times we get too familiar with God's grace and we kind of take advantage of it. We say, Lord, I know you love me. Lord, I know you'll forgive me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. That's the wrong type of attitude to have. Why? Because if you love someone, you'll obey someone. If you love someone, you listen to them. When 5 plus 2 equal 12. As the piano begins to play, let's all stand to our feet. Give an invitation if you want to come to the altar and pray.